I'm Arlene Herson, and tonight I'd like you to join me at a world-class party here at the exclusive Maxine's restaurant in New York City. We will be joined by celebrities from all fields, including top chefs from all over the world. They're here tonight wining and dining for City Meals on Wheels so that other people less fortunate than they can have meals delivered to them at their home. We're going to learn more about City Meals on Wheels, get to meet some celebrities, and I hope have a terrific evening. So stay right there. We'll be right back. We're speaking now with Gael Greene, who really is the person who started this incredible charity for City Meals on Wheels. Now, this may be a little unusual. Gael Greene is a food critic, an author as well, but her main job is being a food critic for New York Magazine. Therefore, we're going to speak to Gael, but you can't see her face. You can hear her voice, and you can get to know about it, but you can't see her face.
You can see my knee.
Okay, yes, we can see your knee. Speaking about knees, I guess, well, let's get to the knees later. First, City Meals on Wheels, because that's why we're here. And we really wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
Well, it's true that about 5 years ago I was reading an article in the Times that said, "City scrimps to feed the elderly." And I thought about the $200 dinner that I had had the night before and my breakfast in bed, which I was eating at that moment. And I thought, it just seemed to me quite outrageous that I would live the way I live and that there would be people, perhaps on my own block, who were starving. So I called James Beard on the phone, and he had read the same article. And I said, "Jim, let's fill some Christmas baskets for these people." And he said, "Well, but what about weekend meals?" The federal government pays for 5 hot meals a week for the elderly, but there is just not enough money to pay for weekend meals. So we got into it really before we even knew what we were doing, got a lot of food people involved, restaurateurs and members of gastronomic societies and some of the people who produce food, like the president of Sugar Foods, and everybody gave some money. When we were done, we had $30,000 and we bought Christmas dinners. And it was such a really wonderful feeling to think that we had provided Christmas meals for people who would have had nothing, for it was a long 3-day weekend that year. So it would have been nothing for 3 whole days. So a lot of people said, let's get organized, let's do this. And we've grown and grown and grown. And this year we are very, very close to $3 million. And I think we'll be able to serve Sunday meals to almost all the 8,000 people we are now feeding Saturday and holiday meals to. It's a wonderful feeling.
Incredible, incredible. To be able to provide this kind of service to people, and it's food. Food seems to be your whole life.
Well,
I can't.
I think that for somebody who has as much sort of delicious indulgence in their life as a food writer, and as much waste, let's say, and excess, it is simply unfair and very uncomfortable to think that there are people very close by. And in fact, we are sitting in a very chic place on Madison Avenue and 61st Street, and I promise you that within a 3-minute walk of this restaurant, there are surely people who are receiving Meals on Wheels. And in fact, on my block, there are 12 elderly people who receive Meals on Wheels. I see the van outside my apartment, and it makes me feel really good.
Yeah, I think that most people aren't aware that it's not just people who can't afford it. It's people who just cannot get out on their own and wouldn't be seeing anybody and wouldn't have any company and would be all
That's right,
alone.
And some of it is temporary. It could be somebody who's just come out of the hospital and has no one really to care for them and needs some kind of food help, maybe just for a few months or a few weeks. And the people that can afford it pay some small token fee. And those who can't afford it just get it delivered. And of course, it's really, for a lot of shut-ins, it's really much more than a meal. It's about having someone who comes to your house every day, and cares and speaks to you, maybe spends a minute or two. And some of the people who are totally confined now to little rooms or little flats or want a single-room occupancy hotel, at least once during the day have someone that talks to them. And I think they're also aware that we're out here and that we care.
Right, okay, but you certainly haven't been confined. You have done so much. In addition to your column as a food critic for New York Magazine, you have also written for Architectural Digest. You have written 3 books, two of which, by the way, I have read. Blue Skies No Candy, I bought a long time ago. Looking for it in the library, I found it in my library.
Well, good, brave library.
Dr. Love, okay. Now, forget about Brave, Delicious Sex. You wrote a book that, you know, being a food critic, people might think of something to do with food. It's really a sexy book.
Well, it is about sex, and delicious, of course, is what sex ought to be. And if you are a very sensuous person, if you're really in touch with all your senses, sex is going to be infinitely better because, I mean, the same things that tell you whether or not the chocolate mousse is wonderful are what tell you how the kiss felt. I mean, you are using your eyes and your nose, your sense of smell, your hearing, your taste. You want to know not only how does it feel to your fingers, but how does it feel on your fingers. And if you're really totally sexually oriented and not really sensual, you miss a great deal. It's just like when you're eating because you're starved, you don't really taste.
True. Have you tried all the things in your book that you have written about?
Well, I haven't tried all the things in my book that I've written about, but I've certainly heard about them or seen them in movies. I did put up about almost everything I had heard about because I think that there's a huge range of behavior that is exciting to some people. And I just want you to know that it's there and some people enjoy it. Doesn't mean that everybody will enjoy it.
Yeah, well, you know, there are some things, actually, I wrote them down so I wouldn't kind of forget about them. And I kind of, I'm kind of wondering, making love on the George Washington Bridge.
I haven't, but I would if someone asked.
How about shoes with mirrors on the bottom so he can see himself?
Definitely.
That is a...
Definitely, shoes with mirrors. I think then when someone kisses your ankle or licks your toes.
And how about the bikini with a fur tail? Do you have one?
A bikini with a fur tail, yes. As a matter of fact, a friend gave me a pair of bikini panties once with a fur tail. And I just recently gave her a pair of bikini panties with a little music box that plays a song. When you press the music box, it plays a song. You have to listen very closely.
What's the song?
I don't even know what the song is. I know to listen very closely.
Okay, anyway.
But it's fun, and it's exciting, and it's something that's different or amusing or shocking or even provocative or even suggests resistance. Can be very exciting to a man that you've been with a very long time who isn't expecting you to behave in quite that way.
Okay. Back to your food, because actually that's very sensual also. Actually, speaking about sensual, I will never again eat a fig in the same way without thinking about you. I can't explain that to the audience, but it was probably, you know, that was one of the most sensuous
well, it's hard to explain sensuality to somebody that has never stopped to smell a rose. You know, and I felt that if I could show you how to eat a fig in a way that takes 7 or 8 steps, that you will then understand that that is the total experience of a fig. You know, to cut it open and then squeeze it so that it opens up like a flower and see the difference between the incredible, beautiful pink interior and the very boring plain outside. And then to smell it and to lick it and to rub it over your face and to taste it and to swallow it and taste it again. I mean, that is every possible experience of a fig.
True. I feel very guilty because I can see you and our audience can't. And part of that reason is, well, not part of it, the main reason is you're a food critic.
Right. It's really desirable if I can be anonymous when I walk into a restaurant. So normally when I appear on television or in a photograph, I wear a hat that covers at least half of my face and throws the rest of it into shadow. But since you don't normally wear a hat at a fancy dinner party like the one we're having tonight at Maxime's, I'm using my bidding paddle, which if I were in the other room, I probably would have spent $20,000 already by holding up my paddle.
Okay, for this fabulous auction that here tonight, you're part of the auction actually. Have you been up for bid yet?
No, in fact, I must go out and see what I'm selling for. I'm going to be cooking a dinner, a very sensuous dinner, maybe a sort of a Colette kind of dinner for 6 that will feature oysters and truffles and quail and some in a beautiful Burgundy rather, Chambord Les Amoureuses, and it's a dinner for lovers. So I'm actually being very brave. When a food critic agrees to cook a dinner in public, maybe it'll be bought by a restaurateur and I'll be judged and criticized. And
well,
revenge will be taken.
Obviously you love to eat. Do you love to cook too?
Well, I like to cook, and I'm a quite good cook. I would be a better cook if I cooked more often, but I'm going out almost every night of the week. So I don't cook a lot except when I'm in Aspen or in the country or at the beach. During the summer, take 3 months off. Then I do a lot of cooking.
But eating and all these, being out every night, reviewing restaurants, how do you maintain a figure? Why don't you weigh 10,000 pounds? Yes, well, you look thinner. You know, I get.
Well, I do work out an hour every day. I have a lady who comes to the house, and I try to walk. I try to taste. I certainly don't eat when I'm reviewing. I taste, and I taste the food of all my guests. And I find that, for instance, when I go to France on a reviewing trip, very often the man I'm with will gain several pounds because he's finishing my food. But I'm really very careful, and if you know that the next day it's going to be almost as wonderful as today, it's very easy to remember to just taste.
Yeah, well, you know,
it's not the way we were brought up, but it's a survival technique.
Yeah, well, it's been nice to have a taste of you. I mean, in so many different ways. I mean, there are. It's amazing that you have the time to do all the things that you do. But you're a fabulous writer, and it's been a delight. And you've done some wonderful things for the City Meals on Wheels people here.
Well, thank you. We now have a huge family of helpers, so it is not that it's not that time-consuming for me. I'm really involved, and I'm very excited when I see us getting so close to our goal. But we've got now a wonderful, dedicated group of both food people and just New Yorkers who care about feeding their neighbors who have very little.
We've just been talking to Gael Greene. Please stay there because we have lots more guests coming at this fabulous party here at Maxime's. We're joined now by Warner Leroy, the owner of Maxwell's Plum, the Tavern on the Green, and in Washington, another spectacular restaurant called the Potomac. He's a spectacular person himself, as you will soon get to see. Welcome, Warner Leroy.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Hi. You know, it's true. You really have done incredible things in the restaurant business.
Thank you.
I have to say Tavern on the Green is one of my most favorite. I was recently in Washington at the Potomac, which is incredible. It's an extravaganza. And Maxwell's Plum, when it first opened, there was nothing like it in New York.
That's right.
Now you seem to go to the absolute extravagance.
How can you say such a thing? Here I am in my running outfit.
Yes, I see the way you're dressed. Very, very tailored.
Yes.
Have you always been like that?
Oh, it's part of the show. I mean, I don't wear this except, you know, when I'm out as a part of the show. But at Maxime's, I felt it would be a good thing. Actually, I tried to get in here one night in an outfit like this for a black tie night, and they wouldn't let me in because I didn't have a black tie on. But tonight I got in.
As a matter of fact, somebody just told me that story.
Yeah,
they said, "Do you know Warner Leroy? You know, they wouldn't let him into Maxime's because, however, you had a cape and you were very flamboyant.
Yes.
You were very, you know, with a lot of jewels, but no black tie.
Right.
No black tie tonight too, but a tie."
Right.
Your restaurant, Tavern on the Green, you do, you know, we're here really for City Meals on Wheels,
Right.
and there are many people who cannot go out, eat at the Tavern on the Green, eat here at Maxime's. You have arranged to be part of this program, but I hear that you also have arranged to bring people on occasion into the Tavern on the Green.
Yes, we bring them in a lot, and we send things out. We're having a Seder next week, and we're having some of the old people there at the Seder. It's a terrific thing. It's important.
Yeah, and it is important for somebody. I must say that you have so much. You seem to have so much from the very beginning. I mean, I don't know, the audience really, Warner Leroy himself is a personality, but what a background. Your father was Mervyn Leroy?
Yes.
Produced The Wizard of Oz, also low-key.
Right.
Your mother was an incredible lady who I knew. I knew her when she was Doris Vidor, which married to King Vidor. After that, didn't she marry Billy Rose?
Yes, she had a brief marriage with Billy Rose.
Wow, you know, incredible. Your sister is somebody I've known for a long time, Linda Janklow, married to Mort Janklow. There was just a big story a couple of months ago on Mort and Linda in New York Magazine.
Right.
Quiet life, huh?
We tried.
Okay, also great adventure.
Yes.
That was your idea, was it not?
Well, I built 11 amusement parks and safari parks around the world, and it was a great thing, especially the animals, which is something I loved. It was my animal period, and it was wonderful. And I love the entertainment parks.
Well, you could have been in the entertainment. Your grandfather was the founder of Warner Brothers,
Right.
one of the Warner Brothers.
Right.
You could have gone into that business.
Well, I did go into it for a while, and I worked in the theater for about 15 years. And this really is a kind of theater. I just have more fun because I deal with live people all the time, and it's a theater every night, whether it's an entertainment park or a restaurant. It's a theater.
Okay. It's a theater, true, because it's beautiful. Tavern on the Green, to me, is one of my favorite restaurants in New York. I'll be there next week, I mentioned to you.
Yes,
but I hear you don't go to your restaurants very often, yourself.
Well, I do go, but I don't go that often because I'm always creating new ones. So it's so much work I do all of the making of the things and the designing, and that takes me about 5 years to do each one. So I do go, but I'm not there every night. The restaurant really is the spectacle. The restaurant is the thing. I have a great staff, and they run it. I create it and cause the problems, and the staff runs it, really. They do a terrific job.
Well, I hear once at the Tavern on the Green, they didn't want to let you in because they didn't know who you were. So
Happened.
I can't. Okay, you have described what you do with the restaurant as spectacular entertainment, or spectacle entertainment.
Spectacle restaurants, yeah. It's a celebration. I try to create places that are fantasy. Places that you don't necessarily want to go to every day, but that you want to go to for a special occasion, that make you feel good, that make you smile. And if I do that and you have a good time, then I've accomplished what I want to do. I'm not trying to create a neighborhood place. I'm trying to create something special. And of course, I've been accused of overdoing it, and of course, I do overdo it. But that's on purpose. I think there's a place for that.
And overdoing it, when you talk about overdoing it in your clothes.
Oh, no.
Okay.
There I'm definitely understated.
Yes, as we can see,
Right.
as we can see.
Right.
I hear, the restaurant business is very important to you, but your wife, your current wife, because you were married once before a long time ago, but you've been married now, have several children with, you've been married a long time, happily, I hear.
Yes,
well, listen,
very
I
happily.
shouldn't. Oh, good, okay. You met her at the restaurant?
Yes, I met her the first day that Maxwell's Plum opened, which is actually 21 years ago today. As a matter of fact, we were going to have a celebration, but we decided not to. And I met her. She was with another fellow. And I just met her briefly then, and then I pursued her for some time.
Okay, and one.
Yes, finally.
Okay. How many children do you have now?
4.
Are any of them about to follow their
I don't know.
his flamboyant
I don't know.
life?
They're all interested in food, but it's a little too early to tell yet. We'll see.
You've obviously always been interested in food, and I can
Yes.
tell, yeah, right?
Right.
What's next? There's always something happening with one Leroy, I hear. What's next?
Well, next I'm working on a special kind of park, which is very hard to talk about. I don't think I'm going to do any more restaurants because I spent a number of years in the theater and then entertainment parks and then restaurants. And now I've become very interested in parks and gardening and horticulture, and I want to see if I can create a park that is really a park which can pay for itself. So that's something I'm working on. It's a new idea.
I thank you for taking the time. I know I took you away from the caveat.
It's okay. Pleasure.
But I thank you very much, and I must say your restaurants are spectacular, and I thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
Please stay with us. We have more guests here at this fabulous party at Maxime's for City Meals on Wheels. We're now joined by a very special guest, songwriter, singer, star, Neil Sedaka. Thanks for taking time for the party.
Thank you, dear. Nice to finally meet you. We have mutual friends, the Gershons and the Schusters.
Yes, true. And now us.
Yes.
I met your wife in the ladies' room. She is dynamite.
Thank you. 25 years.
25
September
years.
will be 25 years.
So she's been with you through the whole, ups and downs
Absolutely.
of the career.
Liba manages me for the last 10 years.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wonderful manager, beautiful manager. As a matter of fact, I wish she
Thank
was
you.
here right now.
Thank you.
But your life is so different now. You grew up in Brighton Beach. Lots of family around, Brooklyn. Today we're here for City Meals on Wheels. Your family took care of each other. I don't suppose that they ever would have been in a position of not having food, would they?
My father was a taxi driver. We lived in a lower middle class environment, but we always had meals. We were fortunate. Yes.
So, but you're here today to help other people who don't have meals,
Absolutely.
which is really...
I've been here for Meals on Wheels for 2 or 3 years.
When you started as a songwriter, you wrote Love Will Keep Us Together, by the way. I must mention I interviewed Captain and Tennille, and that
Did you?
was the song that made them popular.
Yes.
They talk about the song as being so much an important part of their life.
Yes.
When did you start to sing your own songs?
1958, The Diary, and I wrote top 10 songs for myself between 1958 and 1962.
Was there any worry about singing your own songs? I mean, writing is one thing, and having other people sing your songs, but you didn't take singing lessons. You were trained as a classical pianist. You know, what made you have the courage to get up and sing your own songs?
I started in the Tin Pan Alley days, the Brill Building days of New York as a writer, with Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil and Carole King, Jerry Goffin. I wrote with Howie Greenfield for 34 years until, unfortunately, he passed away last March. To me, songwriting and records have been my life since 1952. I've been writing for 34 years, over 1,000 songs. And
okay, the first song, the first time you were riding down King's Highway and heard your song on the radio, how'd that feel?
I mean, it was a dream come true. How should it feel? At 19 years old, having a big hit record and driving down King's Highway. It is a spectacular thing. I worked very hard for it.
True.
And I was given a gift. I was really given a gift. It has been a marvelous career of giving to people, and I've certainly gotten it back.
Your daughter is singing.
Dara is doing very well. She's doing, thank you for remembering, jingles. She's doing commercials on radio and television.
Well, she certainly has, I mean, to have a dad like Neil Sedaka, and for her to be such a talented person, I mean, I think, and your wife to be the manager of your career, I really thank you for taking the time from the party to spend time with us. I hope that we can get to know each other a little bit more the next time, but I know that you're going back to the party. It has been wonderful. We've been here all evening interviewing people. You are a wonderful way for us to end the evening, and I thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you
All the
very
best.
much. I hope that you've enjoyed our evening here at Maxime's, meeting Neil Sedaka and all of the exciting people that we've met today. It's all to benefit City Meals on Wheels, which is a wonderful organization. I hope you'll join us again next week. I hope you had a good time at this party. I know that I certainly have. See you then. Good night.